We've all seen UFC fighters talk big before a fight. But when that confidence turns into arrogance, the octagon has a funny way of teaching lessons. From brutal knockouts to shocking upsets, these are the cocky UFC fighters got absolutely destroyed and humbled by their opponents. Starting with Cody Garbrandt. Cody, no love, Garbrandt, was on top of the world after humiliating Dominic Cruz to win the bantamweight title. At UFC 217, he faced his former teammate, TJ Dillashaw. The rivalry was personal. Cody called TJ a snake, mocked him, and promised to knock him out cold.
I'm gonna make you quit. You can do all the conditioning in the world with your new coach. You can't condition that fucking chin of yours.
In round one, Garbrandt dropped TJ and smiled like it was over. But in round two, karma hit hard. Dillashaw landed a head kick and a thunderous right hand that ended Cody's reign. Cody's arrogance cost him the belt. And in their rematch at UFC 227, history repeated itself. Same opponent, same mistake, same result. And that brings us to another champion who let pride take control and paid the ultimate price. At UFC 193 in Melbourne, Ronda Rousey walked in as the face of women's MMA. Undefeated, unstoppable, and unbeatable. She mocked Holly Holm at weigh-ins, shoved her, and laughed at her boxing skills.
She's a 19-time boxing world champion, not MMA world champion, and I believe that I'm better than every other girl.
But inside the cage, Holm stayed ice cold. She pieced Ronda up, avoided the clinch, and in round two, boom, a head kick for the ages. Rousey hit the canvas. Her aura shattered forever. The queen of dominance, humbled in front of the world.
I'm like, I'm nothing. I'm like, what do I do anymore?
And speaking of arrogance meeting reality, our next fighter learned that same lesson the hard way.
I'm being spit.
When Luke Rockhold moved up to light heavyweight for UFC 239 in Las Vegas, he said the division was full of slow, sloppy guys.
Stiff, he's slow, and he's not technical.
He thought Jan Blachowicz would be just another easy win. But Jan doesn't talk. He just hits hard. In round two, he unleashed his trademark left hook and folded Rockhold on the spot.
So much time being spent.
And that brings us to another confident striker, one who danced his way into the octagon and limped his way out.
We'll hear about.
Oh! Huge elbow!
At UFC 252, Sean O'Malley came in as the flashy, rising star. He called himself a once-in-a-generation striker and dismissed Marlon Chito Vera as a nobody.
I don't think he's super good. I don't think he's as good as people think he is, so it'd be a good fight for me.
Early on, O'Malley looked sharp until Vera targeted his leg with brutal low kicks. One perfectly placed kick shut his leg down completely. Seconds later, Chito pounced with ground and pound for the TKO.
Oh! Huge elbow!
O'Malley called it a fluke. Everyone else called it karma. But cockiness doesn't stop there. The next fighter's overconfidence led to one of the coldest knockouts in UFC history.
And of all the superlatives,
After losing their first fight, Jorge Masvidal said Kamaru Usman had pillow fists and only won because of short notice. At UFC 261 in Jacksonville, Masvidal promised to baptize the champ. Instead, he got baptized himself. In round two, Usman landed a devastating right hand that froze Masvidal midair, sweat flying in slow motion as the crowd exploded. Masvidal's trademark smirk was gone in an instant. And from one shocking knockout to another, our next story shows how underestimating a humble warrior can get you spinning elbowed into another dimension.
Toughness shown on each side.
Dominic Reyes nearly beat John Jones, and he never let anyone forget it. When he faced Jiří Procházka at UFC Vegas 25, he mocked Jiří's samurai fighting style, calling it reckless.
I still think they're not good enough to beat me. So we'll see.
But Yerji's chaos had purpose. He walked Reyes down, mixed wild strikes, and in round 2 unleashed a spinning back elbow that sent Reyes crashing to the canvas.
Toughness shown on each side.
Yerji bowed in respect, while Reyes lay motionless. But the humbling continued. This time, the King of Cringe himself learned that the game doesn't wait for anyone. At UFC 288 in Newark, Henry Cejudo returned from retirement full of confidence. He called Aljamain Sterling the worst champion in history and promised to expose him.
I'm coming back and I'm reclaiming this title.
5 rounds later, Sterling outworked and outgrappled him, earning a split decision win. Cejudo could only nod in disbelief. The Olympic gold medalist, humbled by the very fighter he mocked. And finally, our last story proves that sometimes the crowd, not your opponent, is the one that humbles you. At UFC 282 in Las Vegas, Batty Pimblett was riding the hype train full speed. He called Jared Gordon basic and promised an easy win.
Charles finished them in the first, so I aspire to be champion one day, so I need to do the same thing.
But when the cage door closed, Gordon outboxed him for all 3 rounds. When the judges gave Patty a controversial decision, the crowd erupted in boos. Patty smiled like nothing happened, but everyone knew he'd been exposed. Sometimes, the humbling doesn't come from punches. It comes from silence. Confidence wins fights, but arrogance? That's a knockout waiting to happen. Because inside the octagon, there's always someone ready to teach you humility. If you enjoyed this, check out our next video.